It definitely seems like a paradox that a person could be an Enneagram 8 and also a people pleaser. I've only recently really come to terms that I am an Enneagram 8. Well, last year here on this channel, of course I write songs, I write music, and one of the songs I wrote was called People Pleaser. And it was me realizing that everybody to some degree is a people pleaser. Certainly some people more than others, undeniably so. Some people wear it on their sleeve, others you'd have to know them very well and you'd have to be one of the select people that they're trying to take care of. And that was the case with me. I started realizing that there were a select few people who were on my list of people that I really needed them to like me, to think that I was nice, to think that I was good. And so I wrote a song kind of sorting that out, realizing that I guess no one's immune to being a people pleaser. And maybe people who especially go around saying, well, I don't care what anybody thinks of me. Those people, I would think they're absolutely not the exception to the rule. I think people who go around saying that they don't care what people think about them definitely care what people think about them. And it just may not be for most people, but there are certainly certain people that they're trying to please. So as I unpack this though, and because I've never heard anybody talk about this before, that if you are like me, if you're an Enneagram 8, wing 9, social subtype, I mean, even I guess if you're 8 wing 7 social subtype, but if you're the social subtype, you're the countertype of Enneagram 8. So you're not necessarily going to be an obvious 8. You have to, it's like one of those things from the 90s where you have to like squint and look at it sideways, like, oh wow, I see Jesus, or whatever the hidden image is. It's kind of like that. It's like, oh, that is an 8. It wasn't obvious. Well, of course it's not, because an 8, someone who's driven by taking control and being in control and the need for control all the time. I mean, that was something I only became aware of in my later 30s, that I kind of knew for longer than that I was a control freak. But like, it was my late 30s before I started realizing that I needed to stop trying to control everything. I needed to stop worrying about controlling things on a global scale, which I can't control the world anyway. I can't change the world. But all I really can do is I can focus on how I handle perceived issues. Basically self-improvement, and when I become a better person, I ultimately therefore positively affect those around me. And I started learning to basically stop trying to control things that cannot be controlled. But we keep hearing the word control here. But I think still there's going to be a tendency, I'm aware of it now, but there's still going to be a tendency for me to try to make people like me, certain people, because I don't want to be perceived as a jerk or arrogant. I want to be perceived as a good man, and that matters a whole lot to me. So there's a negative stereotype about Enneagram 8s being jerks, and I don't want to be that. And that's why I'm only just now coming to terms with that I even am an 8. It felt very good to be an Enneagram 9 when I thought that's what I was, because how can you not like an Enneagram 9? How can you not like Paul Rudd, right? So that was something I chose to identify with. But like now I get it. I'm a people-pleasing 8, but in general, I'm not trying to please most people. I think I'm on some level, at least currently, and maybe I'll work my way through this. Hopefully I will. But my subtype is the kind is focused on taking my anger and energy and investing it in myself in the name of self-improvement. Being productive. But specifically, I become a healthier 8 anytime I can invest that energy in other people, and to be more like an Enneagram 2, to be more of a servant and a helper. That's my growth. So you can be an Enneagram 8 and a people pleaser, and I think anybody can be a people pleaser. And I think that kind of humanizes the concept of an Enneagram 8 when you realize, yeah, even we, Enneagram 8s, to some degree are people pleasers. And what's funny is, especially when we're people pleasers, that's part of our growth. That's a funny concept. But I like that. It's good to know. I feel like people aren't talking about it. Let's talk about it more. Comment section right there.